I was still in training for wrestling. Haven't graduated training yet. I get a message stating I'm going to be working with a veteran who had been with the company for over 10 years. He was coming back from an injury, which I didn't know was hepatitis at the time. There was no locker room. Like, this was a festival. This was out in the middle of the street, dedicated to like Spanish wrestlers and like lucha libre. And I am a 18-year-old scrawny white kid with really long hair, not a shred of muscle mass. So we all participated in the battle royal. He was not present for that. After that battle royal, we were, I think, scheduled to go on first. We had to go on second. Right when he gets in, he's in a hurry. I stand up real quick and shake their hand, introduce myself, and sit back down and try and go over the match. As I start talking, he drops his pants, just dick and balls, just in my face, and I didn't know what to do. So I stand back up and introduce myself again, because, like I said, totally caught off guard, then proceeds to talk to me about the match. And as he's doing this, he gets his keys out, and he has a little keychain that looks like a bullet, and he unscrews that keychain and takes a snort of some cocaine. And we're on next. We ended up having a quick 7-8 minute match. He let me win since it was my debut, and he was playing the bad guy. I was playing the good guy. He was like, no one wants to see me win.
Wow, what a nice man. He let you win. If we took anything away from that, the sweetheart of a man let you win, gave you the victory on your first match. There was a lot in that call. A lot in that call. I think the first thing, I don't know if it's the most important thing, but it is one of the first things. If you want to train to be a wrestler, please go to a school with a reputable trainer, someone who will not just throw you to the wolves. It's very important that your trainer says you're ready to have a match, you're not ready to have a match. I assume in this instance, this kid was not ready to have a match. It's pretty wild, though, that he would take out the keychain and do a bump right in front of you. That's a sign that someone really does not give a shit, or is so old school, or has been around for so long and so jaded that they just don't care. I'll give you a little side story. Rest in peace, Balls Mahoney. I wrestled Balls Mahoney the day after Chris Candido had passed away. And Chris Candido was Balls Mahoney's best friend since childhood. They did backyard wrestling together. So Balls Mahoney was just a mess. A mess. And I believe he enjoyed partaking in recreational drugs at the time. And before the match, I walked into the locker room and saw him partaking in something. What it was, I don't know. He put something up his nose. I don't know if it was drugs. I don't know what it was. I just know he was putting something up his nose to dull the pain. I know he was in a lot of pain and he was hurting. His best friend had passed away. And now I got the opportunity to wrestle him. I think at the time, I was in a better position than this kid. I had been wrestling maybe 6 or 7 years at that point. I had wrestled a lot of names. Balls Mahoney knew who I was. He trusted me, but still, to have to go in the ring with somebody who you know is under some kind of influence of something is very scary. And believe me, it still happens to this day. But this was this kid's very first match. And he got a little taste of that wrestler culture, that wrestling locker room culture, very quick, very soon. So much that I'm sure it put him off from wrestling a little bit. I think for me, it might have dove me a little deeper into wrestling culture because, you know, I was reading the magazines and I was reading the dirt sheets and I just was so obsessed with the romance of all of that stuff, which is odd that I never got into drugs or drinking or anything because I thought it was cool. That's what wrestlers did, but I knew I never wanted to do any of that. So there it is. A real wake-up call. A real how you doing? This is pro wrestling. And luckily for you, you won. Congratulations. Hey, thanks for watching. That call was part of a whole podcast called Wrestling Anonymous. Listen to the whole thing weekly. Wherever you listen to your podcast, go subscribe. And while you're at it, subscribe right here on YouTube to Colt Cabana's channel. Thank you.